Welcome back. This week, President Trump made good on his promise to investigate his investigators. Mr. Trump gave Attorney General William Barr the authority to unilaterally declassify documents from the CIA and other intelligence agencies. Both the president and Barr have said the Trump campaign was spied on. And this latest move raises concerns in the intel community about politicizing intelligence. Joining me now from Tokyo, where President Trump is on a state visit, is White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. Sarah Sanders, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Before I begin with some of that domestic political back and forth, I want to start with something that's on the minds, I think, of a lot of Japanese, and that is the ballistic missile tests of the North Koreans. Does the president agree with the Prime Minister of Japan and his own national security advisor that North Korea has violated a UN resolution with these tests?
Look, the president's focus in all of this process is on continuing the very good relationship that he has with Chairman Kim, and he feels good that the chairman will stay firm with the commitment that he made to the president and move towards denuclearization. That's our focus. That's going to continue to be our focus. Some of the activity that's taken place, as you can see from the president's Twitter, isn't something that's bothering the president. He still feels good about the relationship that he has and about Chairman Kim's commitment that he made to the president.
So the president has no qualms about not enforcing a UN resolution. If you don't enforce it, what's the point of it?
Once again, Chuck, the president's focus in this process is on continuing to move towards total denuclearization of the peninsula. We know that the activities at no point that took place over the last several weeks have been a threat to the United States or our allies, and we're going to continue pushing forward to the ultimate goal, and that's denuclearization of the peninsula. And the president still feels comfortable and confident in the relationship that he has with Chairman Kim, and that he's going to stay true to the commitment that he made to the president.
Well, you referred to his Twitter feed. I do want to put it up, he did downplay it. North Korea fired off some small weapons, which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me. I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me. And then also smiled when he called Swamp Man Joe Biden a low IQ individual and worse. Perhaps that's sending me a signal. Can you explain why Americans should not be concerned that the President of the United States is essentially siding with a murderous authoritarian dictator over a former vice president in the United States?
Chuck, the president's not siding with that, but I think they agree in their assessment of former Vice President Joe Biden. Again, the president's focus in this process is the relationship he has and making sure we continue on the path towards denuclearization. That's what he wants to see, and that's certainly what the people in this region want to see, and are hopeful that the president is right and that relationship will be what helps move us further down that path.
The President of the United States takes the North Korean dictator's word about Joe Biden. What happened to speaking with one voice in American foreign policy? Is the president not setting up, trying to have world leaders sort of pick which political party they should side with? I don't understand what message the president is sending here.
The president doesn't need somebody else to give him an assessment of Joe Biden. He's given his own assessment a number of times. I think you've seen it. I'm sure you've covered it on your program. The president watched him and his administration with President Obama fail for 8 years. He's come in 2.5. He's cleaned up a lot of the messes that were left behind. We shouldn't even be in the position that we're in to have to deal with North Korea at the level we are if they had done their job in the first place. And that we're seeing in moment after moment and relationship after relationship that the previous administration did nothing. They failed with Iran. They failed with North Korea. They failed on trade. And we finally have a president that's being tough with these countries. We've put tougher sanctions on North Korea than the Obama administration ever did. But at the same time, the president wants to develop that relationship, and he wants to actually get something done. He doesn't want to just talk in pretty rhetoric. He's been tough on China for the very first time ever. China is sitting down at the table and negotiating for better deals on trade. For the very first time, we're seeing Iran's economy crumbling. Nobody's been tougher on Russia than this president. I think if anybody needs help with an assessment, it's Joe Biden, and whether or not he should be trying to get an upgrade when he failed to do the job in the #2 slot.
I'm trying to understand how your North Korea policy is a success if he's still launching missiles? I mean, I understand that you guys have had summits, but nothing's come of it. If anything, he's now doing missile tests again. So we're right back where we began.
It's not true to say nothing's come of it. There have been steps that have moved us towards, for a strong, significant period of time. There was no missile testing. We got hostages back home to the United States and remains of American war heroes. I don't know how you could say that that's nothing, but to me, that is certainly something. And I know it's something to the families of those individuals those people came back home. And this is a president who's actually made those things happen. Once again, he should never have been in this position in the first place. This is because of the failure of the administrations that came before him that never dealt with it to begin with.
I want to ask you about the decision to give the Attorney General this unilateral authority to declassify intelligence. The order says the Attorney General should consult with relevant agency heads, but not that he has to. Why did the president not force the Attorney General to consult with the DNI and the head of the CIA? Here he's giving him unilateral authority not to do it, only saying he should do it, but he doesn't have to. Why?
The president has total confidence in the Attorney General and his ability
but not
to
the
make
intelligence
those decisions.
community?
We expect. Certainly, that's why we expect that the Attorney General will consult with them on matters that he needs that guidance and advice from them. Certainly, they work in lockstep on a number of things. I don't see this to be any different. The bottom line here is there was a lot of corruption at the FBI and the DOJ. We see constantly more and more things that have come out of that. And the president wants transparency, and he's given the Attorney General the ability to put that transparency in place, make those decisions, and we're not at all concerned that the Attorney General is not going to do everything that is necessary to make sure we're protecting important intelligence that is vital to our national security.
I'm trying to understand what outcome the president expects. He tweeted the following: "My campaign for president was conclusively spied on. Nothing like this has ever happened in American politics, a really bad situation. Treason means long jail sentences, and this was treason." Why did the president ask the Attorney General to do an investigation if he's already come to a conclusion, already decided what the penalty should be, and I think has already determined what the jail sentences should be? Isn't this the president already playing judge and jury and putting his thumb on the scale here for whatever investigation he claims he wants Mr. Barr to do?
That's pretty rich coming from the media, who relentlessly covered and accused the president for over 2 years of being part of this massive election interference, something that never took place. The idea that anybody now says that the president doesn't have the right, and not only that Americans deserve the truth, to push back and find out where all of this started is absurd. Literally, for day after day after day, the media and Democrats in Congress called the president a traitor to his own country and said that he cheated to become president. I mean, the idea of that is absolutely outrageous, that he had to endure that for 2 years, and now he wants to know where and why it started, and all of a sudden that's a big deal. That is insane.
Sarah, I
think
didn't ask about him.
Exactly what he should
Sarah,
be. And I think America is glad that he's asking for that transparency.
I didn't ask whether he should ask those questions. He's not asking questions anymore. He's already made a judgment. That is much different. Will he accept a result of the Attorney General saying, you know what, everything was done legally and on the up and up, Mr. President? Will he accept that result from Bill Barr?
We already know that there was an outrageous amount of corruption that took place at the FBI. They leaked information. They lied. They were specifically working, trying to take down the president, trying to hurt the president. We'll leave the final call up to the Attorney General, and he'll get to the bottom of it. But we think Americans deserve the truth.
So
the president's asked for that, and we should expect nothing less. So
the president is not going to accept exoneration if that's what Bill Barr finds?
Look, I'm not going to get ahead of what the final conclusion is, but we already know that there was a high level of corruption that was taking place. We've seen that in the IG investigation that's already happened, but there's a lot more there that we still need to know, and we're going to let the Attorney General do his job.
Well, it sounds like you're not. That's my point. It doesn't sound like you want him to do his job. It sounds like the president has already determined the outcome.
Chuck, that's the reason that he's granted the Attorney General the authority to declassify that information, to look at all the documents necessary, is so that we can get to the very bottom of what happened. Once again, we already know about some wrongdoing. The president's not wrong in that, but he wants to know everything that happened and how far and how wide it went. We know that there was corruption. Let's see.
Does he expect criminal charges? Does he expect, he's accused James Comey of treason, does he expect Jim Comey to be arrested?
Again, we're going to let the Attorney General make that determination as he gets to the conclusion of this investigation.
So the president
but we
is not going to accept
the people that were responsible and that were part of this unprecedented obstruction and corruption at the FBI. Those people should certainly be held responsible and be held accountable, and the president expects that to take place.
So he expects an outcome that he wants, not an outcome that the facts lead to.
Chuck, I think you're trying to muddy the waters too much here. We already know, that there was wrongdoing. Now we want to know how much there was.
Waters.
I don't think that's well, I don't think it's crazy to want to know how far and how wide the corruption at the FBI was. And that's what the president has asked the Attorney General to find, and we'll see what happens.
Sarah Sanders, White House Press Secretary in Tokyo for us today. Thanks for coming on and sharing your views. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Chuck.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.